If you've ever wanted to leave a man completely obsessed with you, not just physically, but emotionally, then what you say in the most intimate moments matters more than you think. Because words in bed, they don't just arouse, they anchor. And the right ones can bind his heart to yours forever. When you're making love, it's not just about touch, it's about connection. And connection is built with words. In this video, I'm going to reveal 6 powerful things you can say during intimacy that will completely transform the way a man feels about you physically, emotionally, and mentally. When you whisper, "You make me feel so safe," during an intimate moment, you're doing something far more powerful than just giving a compliment. You're speaking directly to a man's core masculine identity. You see, many men are silently wired to want to protect, to provide, to be the stronghold in a woman's life. They may not always articulate it, but it's deeply ingrained in their emotional blueprint. So when you, in a moment of vulnerability, softly express that he makes you feel safe, it's like hitting a hidden switch in his heart. It tells him that his presence matters, that his strength, both physical and emotional, is valued. And here's what most people miss. Safety isn't just about locking doors or defending against harm. It's about emotional security. It's about knowing you can break down in his arms and he won't flinch. That you can expose your deepest fears and not be judged. That in the chaos of life, his embrace becomes the one place you can exhale. When a man knows he provides that for you, it creates a powerful emotional anchor. He stops seeing himself as just your lover and starts seeing himself as your protector, your guardian, your emotional rock. That's the kind of connection that builds long-term loyalty, not just attraction. Because here's the truth, in today's world, women are constantly told to be strong, independent, and unshakable. And yes, that's powerful, but when you choose to soften in front of a man and show him that his strength gives you rest, he doesn't see you as weak. He sees you as rare, because most people wear armor in bed. But when you say, "You make me feel so safe," you're choosing to wear trust. And that level of emotional openness is magnetic. It invites a man to show up, not just sexually, but soulfully. He becomes more tender, more attentive, more emotionally available, because he's no longer just pursuing pleasure, he's protecting a bond. And once that kind of bond is formed, it's incredibly hard to walk away from. So next time you're in a moment of closeness, don't underestimate the power of this simple sentence. Say it with softness, say it with sincerity, and say it with your eyes locked into his. You'll see it, the way he melts into the moment, the way his body relaxes and his heart opens. That's not just chemistry, that's emotional devotion being born right in front of you. When you say to a man, "I've never felt this close to anyone," especially in the middle of intimacy, you're doing something far more powerful than simply expressing affection. You're unlocking his emotional walls, walls that society has told him to build to protect himself from vulnerability, rejection, and failure. Most men grow up with a subtle message: stay in control, don't show too much emotion, and never let someone get too close. So when he finds himself in a moment of deep physical and emotional connection, your words become the bridge between his body and his heart. And this phrase, it doesn't just flatter him, it tells him that what you're sharing isn't casual, isn't shallow, and isn't ordinary, it's extraordinary. You're not just saying that the chemistry is great, you're saying that this moment, this connection, this closeness feels unlike anything you've ever experienced. That it's meaningful, unique, irreplaceable. That kind of affirmation makes a man stop and think, what we have isn't just about attraction, it's about emotional significance, and significance is the gateway to obsession. Why? Because when a man starts to believe that he occupies a space in your heart that no one else ever has, he begins to feel emotionally invested. He starts to see you as the woman who brings out a version of him that even he didn't know existed. And here's the deeper magic. By saying, I've never felt this close to anyone, you're creating what psychologists call emotional exclusivity. In that moment, you've made him feel like he's the only one who can reach you at this level, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And that's the kind of connection that makes a man feel both proud and protective. He doesn't just want to be with you, he wants to preserve this closeness. He starts treating the relationship with more care, more depth, and more intention. But most importantly, this phrase isn't manipulative, it's sincere. Because for it to land, it must come from a place of genuine feeling. Look into his eyes when you say it. Let the vulnerability in your voice match the truth of your words. Because when a woman opens her heart in a moment of softness, when she lets herself be fully seen, she gives a man permission to do the same. And that mutual unveiling, that shared emotional nakedness, is what turns lust into love, and love into devotion. So don't underestimate the impact of this simple phrase. Use it when you feel that sacred closeness rising between you. When your hearts beat in sync and it feels like time disappears, whisper it, hold him, and watch what happens when a man realizes that he's touched you in a way no one else ever has. That's not just intimacy, that's transformation. When you say to a man, you drive me wild, but it's not just that, you're doing something incredibly seductive, but also deeply meaningful. Most men hear compliments about their physical performance. They know how to react to being told they're hot, sexy, or amazing in bed. But what they rarely hear, and secretly crave, is a woman who sees beyond that surface. By acknowledging that he excites you physically and mentally, you're elevating him from just a sexual partner to someone who touches you on every level, body, mind, and soul. And that changes everything. This sentence begins with a spark. You drive me wild. It fuels his confidence, affirms his desirability, and turns on his masculine ego. But the real power is in the second part. But it's not just that, it signals depth. It's like saying, yes, you turn me on, but there's something more, something I can't quite explain, something rare, something I don't feel with anyone. That mystery, that emotional pull, is what creates obsession. Because now he's not just someone who gives you pleasure, he's someone who moves you in ways you can't fully describe. That's intoxicating for a man. Here's the truth. Men love to be desired, but more than that, they love to be chosen, not just for what they can do, but for who they are. When you make it clear that his touch thrills you, but it's also the way he looks at you, the way he talks to you, the way he makes you laugh, or the way he makes you feel safe, that's when you touch his heart, not just his ego. You're telling him that he's not just good in bed, he's good for your soul. And once a man believes that, once he feels like he's uniquely able to reach you in a way no one else can, he starts to value that connection. He starts to fear losing it. That's where real attachment begins. You can take this phrase even deeper with details. You drive me crazy when you kiss me like that. But honestly, it's the way you look at me when I'm talking that makes me melt. The way you touch me is incredible, but it's the way you see me that gets under my skin. When he hears that, he doesn't just feel sexy, he feels significant, and significance is everything. It's what turns physical desire into emotional investment. It's what separates a fling from a forever love. So say it in a whisper, say it with your breath on his neck, say it in the silence between kisses. Let him know, yes, he excites you, but it's the whole man, not just his body, that leaves you breathless. That's the kind of affirmation that doesn't fade. It stays with him, it echoes, and it makes him crave you on levels he didn't even know existed. When you softly say to a man, "You make me feel like a woman," you're not just flattering him, you're awakening something primal inside him. These words carry immense weight because they validate both his masculinity and your feminine essence in one breath. In that moment, you're telling him you bring out the most natural, soft, sensual, and powerful part of who I am. And that is one of the greatest gifts you can offer a man, because most people focus only on what they feel during intimacy. But when you tell a man that he is the reason you feel like a woman, you're saying that his presence, his touch, his energy brings out something sacred in you. There's something deeply transformative about being in the arms of someone who makes you feel safe enough to fully surrender, not just physically, but emotionally. That's what this phrase is about. It's not about weakness or passivity. It's about trust. It's about saying, I trust you enough to let go, to stop leading, to soften, to be fully present in this moment. And when a man hears that from a confident, self-aware woman, it strikes him to his core, because no matter how strong or independent you are in the world, when you step into your feminine in his presence and acknowledge that he is the reason for that shift, it makes him feel empowered, honored, and irreplaceable. You're also giving him a sense of accomplishment. Every man wants to feel like he's unlocking something inside his woman. When you say, "You make me feel like a woman," you're saying, "You help me access the side of me that the world rarely sees." That's incredibly bonding, because now your connection isn't just about attraction, it's about transformation. You're telling him, "You don't just touch me, you awaken me." This phrase also inspires more of the behavior you want from him. When a man sees that being emotionally attuned, present, and sensual makes you feel radiant and feminine, he naturally wants to continue showing up that way. It becomes a positive feedback loop. His presence makes you softer, your softness makes him feel more masculine, and the cycle of connection deepens. That's when intimacy turns into sacred energy. You can expand on the phrase by saying things like, "You make me feel like a woman in all the right ways, feminine, desired, treasured. I love how, with you, I don't have to be in control, I can just be. I feel so safe, soft, and seen in your arms." The power in these words isn't just in their meaning, it's in the feeling behind them. Say them slowly. Say them when the energy is already intimate. Say them when he's looking at you with depth and connection. Watch his face when you do. You'll see the shift. That moment becomes more than just physical. It becomes unforgettable. When you look into a man's eyes and say, "Being with you feels like home," you're saying something that strikes deeper than desire, deeper than attraction. You're speaking to his soul. You're telling him that in a world full of chaos, competition, and pressure, he is your calm, your comfort, your safe place. And that, more than any compliment about his looks or performance, is what makes a man stay. Every man is searching for something he can't quite name. It's not just excitement, it's not just chemistry. What he craves is a connection that allows him to exhale, a space where he doesn't have to be anyone other than himself, and still feel fully accepted, wanted, and appreciated. When you say that being with him feels like home, you're not just giving him a compliment, you're giving him belonging. And for a man who's constantly being told to prove his worth in the world, that's everything. Home is not just a place, it's a feeling. It's where you're seen, where you're known, where you're not performing, not competing, not hiding. It's warmth, safety, and emotional stillness. So when you tell a man that he feels like home, you're telling him that he gives you a peace no one else can. And men remember the women who bring them peace forever. And here's the beautiful truth. Peace is more addictive than passion. Passion can be found in many places, but peace, true emotional stillness, the kind that calms your nervous system, softens your guard, and makes you feel like you've arrived, that's rare, that's sacred, that's unforgettable. And that's exactly what this phrase communicates. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment to say it. You can whisper it after a slow kiss, murmur it with your head on his chest, or breathe it out in the quiet after making love. The key is authenticity. Let it be a reflection of what you genuinely feel in that moment. When you say it with sincerity, it becomes a mirror for him. It lets him see himself through your eyes, as someone who brings comfort, not just excitement. Want to go deeper with it? Try saying, I don't know what it is, but when I'm with you, I feel like I'm home. There's something about your energy that just calms me, like I can finally breathe. No matter what's going on, when I'm with you, everything feels right. These words build emotional roots. They don't just anchor you to him, they anchor him to you. He begins to associate you with a kind of peace he may not have even realized he needed. And once a man ties that peace to your presence, you're no longer just someone he wants to be with, you're someone he can't imagine being without. When you tell a man, I love how you love me, you're not just saying you love him, you're acknowledging the way he shows up for you, the effort he puts into caring for you, and the unique expression of his love. That subtle shift in language makes all the difference, because while I love you is powerful, it can sometimes become routine. But when you say I love how you love me, you're highlighting the very things that make his love special, and that more than anything, makes a man feel truly seen. You're showing him that you don't just feel love, you recognize it, appreciate it, and cherish the way it shows up in your life. Maybe it's in the way he holds your hand without being asked. Maybe it's how he listens when you vent, or how he instinctively pulls you closer when you're quiet. These aren't grand gestures, but they are deeply personal. When you call attention to them, you're giving him emotional validation. You're saying, I notice the way you love me, and it matters. This kind of acknowledgement is gold for a man. Most men are taught to do, not to express. They may not always have the language for love, but they show it in actions, protecting you, supporting you, staying close, even when it's hard. When you reflect that love back with appreciation, he feels successful in loving you. And nothing lights up a man more than knowing he's loving his woman right. Let's break it down even further. There are so many ways to expand on this phrase, and make it hit even deeper. I love how you love me with patience, when I'm overwhelmed. I love how you love me, through the little things, like remembering my favorite drink, or rubbing my back when I don't even ask. I love how you love me, without trying to fix me, you just show up, and that's enough. These kinds of statements open the emotional floodgates. They make a man feel like he's not just in the relationship, but he's winning in it, that he's meeting your needs, reaching your heart, connecting to the deepest parts of you. It's no longer just about passion, it becomes about partnership, and that's where loyalty is born. When a man knows that his love isn't just received but valued, it deepens his emotional investment. He starts to feel that what he gives to you isn't just noticed, it's treasured. That's when he starts thinking long term. That's when he stops comparing, stops wondering, stops questioning, because he knows, this is where I matter. So the next time you're wrapped in his arms, or sitting beside him quietly, don't just say I love you. Take a moment, look him in the eyes, and say I love how you love me. Watch how he responds, because those words, they don't just touch his heart, they anchor it to yours. Ladies, what you say, while making love can either be forgettable, or forever. These aren't just lines, they're invitations into your soul. And when you let a man in with both your body and your words, he doesn't just want you, he needs you. So speak with love, speak with intention, and speak from the deepest part of your feminine power, because when you do, You won't just capture his body, you'll own his heart and mind. If this resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful insights on love and intimacy, and drop a comment below. Which of these phrases are you going to try first? Or better yet, tell me your go-to words that melt him on the spot. Let's talk.